Hello and welcome to the Whisky.com news on the 22nd of February 2021. Yeah, my studio is in repairs and in maintenance. It will be redecorated. So I'm sitting out here in the woods. It's always a bit of a hard spot to find the right lighting. And I think I kind of did it now. Yeah, let's just dive right in. First of all, we have Macallan bringing out new collections, and they call out the Anecdotes of Ages. The labels will be done with the English artist Sir Peter Blake. There will be 13 unique whiskies or whiskey bottles from the year 1967. Every bottle will have an original label from the artist and will bring details to the history of Macallan. Worldwide there will only be 332 bottles, and they will be sold at around $83,000 per bottle. So it's one of these very expensive series from Macallan. We know quite a lot now. There's a new study out about the terroir of whiskey, so where the whiskey was made, and it's a scientific study, and they found out that yes, it does matter. I haven't looked at the study yet, but their most definite conclusion is it matters where the barley was grown. That sounds very logical. I would like to know if they have more about the maturation in there in the study, because that is kind of the crux of the deal. If the maturation on the Isle of Islay is different than on the mainland, I'd really like to know about that, if that is the case. Then we have news from Ireland. The Midleton Very Rare 2021 will be released. So they just announced it. This year it will be signed by the master distiller Kevin O'Gorman and not the former one Brian Nation of 2020, because he just replaced him last year. It will be a mixture between single pot still whiskey and Irish single grain whiskey. Will be between 15 and 38 years. Well, many of these whiskies will be in there, 40% ABV, and it will be on worldwide in the markets in the coming month. Then we have an update from Brown-Forman. I already told you that they want to build a new distillery, but they now just released an update and said yes, they're doubling the capacity of their Chivray plant in Louisville for $95 million. Then we have a cooperation between the famous actor Neil Patrick Harris and Baileys. Yes, the Baileys cream liqueur from Ireland, working together with Neil Patrick Harris, and the new new product will be called Deliciously Light, and it will have 40% less calories by reducing the sugar content by 40%. It should be very close to the original. How they did it, I don't know. I don't drink Baileys regularly, so expect an update in the coming year of how I feel about this new whiskey liqueur. Then England, Lakes Distillery brings out the One Moscatel. It is a blended whiskey between grain and malt whiskey from the Highlands, the Speyside, and from Islay, and it was finished in Moscatel casks and brought out with 46.6% ABV, not colored, not chill filtered, and will be out on the market at the end of the month. And then we have great news about new legislation about whiskey. Yes, I already had some legislation update last week. That was rather minor update. This one is a bit more major because it is going to affect all Japanese whiskey. Yes, Japanese whiskey will be protected now. The Japan Spirits and Liquor Makers Association has now defined what makes a Japanese whiskey a whiskey. You can read everything about in more detail on Whisky.com/news. And basically the most important thing is that it has to be made in Japan. And by made in Japan, they say fermentation to maturation, everything in Japan. So you can have your barley grown somewhere else, you can have it malted somewhere else, milled somewhere else, and also mashed somewhere else, but it has to be fermented within Japan. Next up is the German news. The new Bud Spencer whiskey is out. It's actually pretty much German, Austrian, Switzerland exclusive, but there will be a Bud Spencer smokey whiskey coming out. 3 years in ex-Amarone, ex-bourbon cask, 49% ABV, and it will be available at the end of a month. And this is good news because that sounds like an awesome whiskey. Yeah, thank you very much. And the next few updates on the whiskey news will probably be also from out here or from on tour, because there is a bit of a trouble and a bit of work I have to do outside, so I won't be able to be in my studio. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.